A historical film from the year 1986. In the year 1986, the ELC's PNG celebrated the first 100-year anniversary of the landing of the first missionary, Johann Vleuel, in a village of Simbang near Finschhafen. My parents travelled to PNG and joined the celebrations. After the official program, they followed an invitation of the Tiripini Circuit to visit them. They were accompanied by Mr. Wieland Metzner, a son of the former missionary Adam Metzner. Wieland Metzner was a keen photographer, and he was ready to film the encounter of my parents with the Viru Christians 16 years after the first baptism, 1970. I first saw this film, which was recorded on VHS system in the year 1997 on the occasion of the funeral of my father. At that time, the film was already showing clear signs of deterioration. I requested Mr. Wieland Metzner to give me a copy of the original, and he told me that he had cut up the original and used the parts for other films. This copy is therefore the only existing film on this encounter. Later, when we had the film digitalized, many parts were beyond repair. My son Ralph and I decided to cut out the useless parts and to stick the rest together. For this reason, you may notice that there are some very rough cuts. We beg you to pardon for this. Besides, I decided to translate the comments of Wieland Metzner as recorded, well knowing that the Viru religion was by far more complicated as shown in this film. For more information, see Chapter 7, Entering the South Viru and the Timbu Cult. In this film, the Viru community enacted the arrival of the first missionary and what consequently happened after that. We hope you will enjoy this film, and thank you very much for turning on. So, cheerio, there you are. show you a map. North of Australia lies the huge island of New Guinea. The eastern part of New Guinea is the independent state of Papua New Guinea. Here in the highlands, about 3 days' walk from Mount Hagen, the point of the arrow shows us where our journey will take us, in the area of Pangia to Tiripini. Here the people of the Wiru live on the foot of Mount Yaribu. Here we can see Mount Yaribu with an elevation of about 4,000 meters. The area was opened in 1960, and the first missionary to arrive was Reverend Hertle from the Bavarian Lutheran Mission. At that time he walked along bush tracks. About 25 years later, these pictures were taken. For us, Wiru, this is a special occasion. Our old missionary and his wife have come to visit us. They are our parents. They brought us the gospel. Only those who knew how we used to live can understand what that means for us and how the gospel changed our lives. Because of this, we will show you how we used to live and what happened before the missionary came to us. In earlier times, we lived in constant fear and mostly in war with our neighbors. There are many reasons for war. The worst was our belief in Sangama, which is the death revenge. We never believed in a natural reason for death. Our forefathers taught us that death was mostly caused by witchcraft. When someone died, we had to bemoan the deceased quickly. If not, we ourselves could be suspected to have caused the man to die. Today it is fun to play war, but in earlier times this was serious warfare. Shortly before the missionary arrived, a highly respected man of our village died, and we, the people of the village Kawo, were suspected to have caused him to die. For this reason, the enemies will not stop fighting until one of our men will be killed. The war is now reaching its climax. Our enemies are entering the village Kawo. After the battle, the dead warriors were left to the young men who fought for the first time. They had to kill the wounded victims. The enemy was then speared and hacked to pieces. Children and young lads were not spared. They had to be killed too. If not, we had to fear that they would take revenge when they were grown up. According to the belief of our forefathers, the spirit of the deceased continued to live on and had power over the living. The living were therefore obliged to care for the well-being of the deceased. Their duty was to take revenge on the death of the clan member. This pattern often led to a chain reaction, and war continued without end. Move out of the way. They want to see the dead warrior. Meanwhile, our enemies are rejoicing. They have fulfilled a heathen duty. Our chief is now ready to give a speech. The word for today must be revenge. Obi mari de uru tromo ko ene nari ni wira na bigo obi i ene ba
Yang komen ka tangwa obe ariwa ne me ariwa we tamne. O ne ka ga yang ka tomo bi kwa me na. Ini tamne. Oma poi win mo tu ga bi do. Ga ga yo wa. Oma poi win tun be to ari wati.
Dar idar bo.
Then something disturbing happened. Strangers came into our village. A white man was in their company. It seemed like they were searching for something. We have the impression that they would like to stick their nose into our business. They want us to stop warfare. I have not called them. I will continue to fight. The strangers gave us presents, here salt. They wanted to show us that they came as friends and not as enemies. The strangers want land. They want to live with us. What should we do? Not everyone is in favor. They will not give us presents every day. What benefit will we have from them? To show us that they came as friends to us, they gave us valuable shells, here depicted as records. Of course, now we live in modern times. Look, that's how you drink out of a bottle. Eventually, we promised to give the missionary land. You can have land over there. But where is the land that you promised us? Which path should we take? The new broad one or the old bad one that the missionary took before? We will take the old track. The path goes down steep. On the other side, it goes steep upwards. In earlier time, the missionary did not stop walking because of bad bush tracks. Let me tell you this. We did not kill just for the sake of bloodshed. We wanted peace. We thought, if it were possible to kill all sorcerers, then sickness and death would be overcome. We would live in peace and would not need to live in constant fear. Here we cut saplings and take them with us. You will soon see what we will do with them. Here we have allocated land for the missionary and his people. But some people protest. It is bad land. It is swampy. We will not stay here. Give us land over there. Some consent, others are against it, because it is good land. But eventually we came to an agreement. The missionary may have that land. With the saplings, we erect a crude bush house on the spot where the missionary built his first bush house 25 years ago. Now we move to the sports ground of the school. We have erected 2 spirit houses. Our earlier life was centered on witchcraft. We had witchcraft for all cases of daily life. Witchcraft was necessary to ensure the fertility of humans, animals and plants, and for success in hunting and warfare, and to protect against sickness and accidents. The stranger asked, "You are making fire. Do you want to roast a piglet?" Of course he knew that we were doing witchcraft. "Go away! Why do you stick your nose into other people's business?" The magic stones were packed in grass. After pronouncing the magic spell, they were buried in the spirit house. The evangelist spoke up. These spirit houses should stop now. Let us build a house for our Creator. But what will happen to us? The crops will fail and the pigs will die. Let us pray. In the course of the years, the spirit houses fell through the word of God. The gospel has set us free, not the killing of witches and other enemies. That is what we experienced. Now we go to the school grounds. After the missionary had built his house, his wife came. She healed our wounds. She taught us to read and write. Then came the lessons for baptism. And then came baptism itself. The old man with the white beard is one of the first baptized Wirus. We now live a carefree life since we know the gospel. We do not fear revenge because we have not done harm to our neighbors. The word of God has taken all mistrust from us. This is our church. The missionary's house in Tiripini. In the shade of the garden, coffee beans are being laid out to dry after having washed them. These solar systems produce warm water everywhere in New Guinea, even without electricity. Actually, I wanted to take a shot of the school buildings, but I have too many spectators. At last the teacher was able to make a free aisle. The founder of the station, missionary Hertle, tells us the story. We are standing here on the airstrip of Pangaea. On the right-hand side is the government station and the hospital. On the left-hand side is the mission station Tiripini. When we arrived here about the end of 1960, it was already clear that we would settle somewhere here in this vicinity. The location is absolutely not in the middle of the circuit, but it is the only spot in the area where an airstrip could have been built. We heard about this from the government in Yalibu. There is no other place to build an airstrip. That is why we tried to settle here. Apart from that, the village of Kawo was one of the largest villages. And for the people who lived here, we had already made an agreement that we would settle somewhere here. It became evident that this village always went ahead of the others, from here unto the last Wiru. Pangaea went ahead and the others followed. This was the case with the baptism and with the stationing of evangelists. The airstrip was swampy land when we arrived. The swamp had to be removed. You can still see the good soil on both sides. It took a long time until the first plane could land on the strip.
Der Flugplatz hier, das war ein Sumpfgelände, wie wir hier kamen. Und da musste tief abgehoben werden. Man sieht ja hier auch, diese gute Erde ist auf beiden Seiten ausgeflacht worden. Und nun hat auch lange Zeit gedauert, bis der Flugplatz dann so weit war, dass man drauf landen konnte.
How did it happen that the wife of the missionary taught to read and write?
Also hier ist der Raum.
Here is the room where we made our first experiment to give a course in reading and writing for adults. I handed over the medical work to the government, and then the Summer Institute of Linguistic People encouraged me to start with an adult literacy course. They said, just give it a try. We cannot provide material for you, but just try yourself. Then I went to the big chief and asked him to give me 10 boys. I wanted to start with a small group. This man was one of them. 9 others followed. In this room we came together and I taught reading and writing. The course lasted 6 months. We had to invent the method for ourselves. We started with the vowels. We taught them with things they already knew. There is a nut called ama. So we taught them the letter I. Then we have a knife, which is called ebbe. We showed them the object and they noticed that it started with the letter I. And the stick is called iri. So they learned the letter I. The bowl is called oporo. There was the letter O. Water is called uwe. And there you have the letter U. Reading and writing was difficult.
Script and letters were totally unknown to the people. They therefore had to learn to read and write with strange symbols.
Then they wrote the letters and the words in capital letters. Sentences followed, and lastly the syllables were put together and they were able to read.
Und die Sätze geschrieben in Druckschrift und dann ging das immer ging's mit haben sie gedrillt und dann haben sie die Silben zusammengesetzt und haben gelesen.
We do not know where the road will lead us. That is true even in this part of the world. Some naive people still believe that it is a paradise with happy children of nature. But in reality, the future is unknown. But the Wirus have shown us what helped them to overcome fear and anxiety of their former lives. And they showed us what gave them confidence. It is the gospel which has set the people free. way up here into the highlands of Papua New Guinea. And of course, this is only true for those who accept this message and are ready to listen.